Welcome to the Broken Chumpy Podcast. I'm Alex, and today we're tackling two of my favorite topics: getting your money to work while you enjoy your coffee, and creating income streams that don't require you to clone yourself. Joining me is Sam, who somehow makes financial strategy sound cooler than my weekend plans.
Thanks, Alex. Happy to be here. Today, we're exploring two very different but surprisingly complementary approaches to income generation. First, we'll discuss building a bond ladder for consistent monthly cash flow in changing interest rate environments. Then, we'll shift to creating passive income with digital products such as templates, printables, and downloadable resources. One strategy leverages fixed income securities, while the other monetizes intellectual capital.
I love that contrast. On one side, you've got bonds quietly doing their thing. On the other, you've got digital products working at 3 in the morning while you're asleep and dreaming about finally organizing your garage.
Exactly. With a bond ladder, the concept is straightforward but powerful. You purchase bonds with staggered maturity dates so that portions of your portfolio mature at regular intervals. As bonds mature, you can reinvest the proceeds into new bonds. This structure can help create predictable cash flow while also reducing the risk of committing all of your capital to a single interest rate environment.
And that's especially important when rates are moving around, right? Because every time people hear interest rates are changing, they start checking financial news like it's a weather forecast.
That's a fair comparison. A bond ladder can provide flexibility because not every bond matures at the same time. If rates rise, maturing bonds can potentially be reinvested at higher yields. If rates fall, at least some of your portfolio may still be locked into previously higher rates. It's a disciplined approach to managing reinvestment risk and generating ongoing income.
And I know our listeners love the phrase ongoing income. It's right up there with free snacks, and the meeting has been canceled.
Very true. Then we'll transition to digital products, which represent a different type of asset altogether. Templates, printables, planners, checklists, spreadsheets, educational resources, and other downloadable products can be created once and sold repeatedly. While there is usually upfront effort involved, the scalability can be significant because distribution costs are often minimal.
Yeah, that's the part that fascinates me. You spend time building a useful resource, maybe a budgeting template or a productivity planner, and then it can continue generating revenue long after you finish creating it.
Correct. Success often comes from solving a specific problem for a clearly defined audience. High quality digital products can provide recurring sales opportunities without requiring inventory, shipping logistics, or physical storage. The focus becomes value creation, market demand, and effective distribution.
So today's episode is basically a masterclass in two different ways to build income streams: one through structured investing, and one through creating useful things people want to download.
That's an excellent summary. We'll discuss how bond ladders can help support consistent monthly cash flow, how changing interest rate conditions influence portfolio decisions, and how digital products can become scalable income generating assets. We'll also compare the advantages, limitations, and practical considerations of each approach.
And don't worry, folks, we're keeping it fun. We promise not to turn this into a 3 hour lecture with 17 charts and a surprise quiz at the end.
I was actually preparing 17 charts,
Of course you were.
only 12 actually.
There it is. Stay with us as we break down smart strategies for building income, managing risk, and maybe making your money slightly less lazy. This is the Broken Chumpy Podcast, and we're just getting started. Before we get started, a quick word from our sponsor. Want to put your podcast on autopilot? Chatter AI offers full podcast automation designed to help streamline your workflow, save time, and keep your content moving. From production tasks to ongoing podcast management, Chatter AI helps creators focus more on growing their audience and less on the repetitive work behind the scenes. If you're ready to simplify your podcasting process and scale your content more efficiently, visit gochatterai.com to learn more. Chatter AI, full podcast automation for modern creators.
Shifting from broad portfolio construction to the mechanics of dependable income, There's a particularly elegant strategy worth examining: the bond ladder. In an environment where interest rates can rise, fall, or remain stubbornly unpredictable, investors are often challenged to balance cash flow needs with reinvestment risk. A thoughtfully structured bond ladder addresses both concerns by staggering maturities, creating a disciplined framework for generating consistent monthly income, while preserving flexibility. The more compelling question is not simply whether bond ladders work, but how they can be optimized as rate conditions evolve. That brings us to a deeper exploration of building a bond ladder designed for reliable monthly cash flow across changing interest rate environments.
A bond ladder is one of those investing concepts that sounds like something you buy at a hardware store, but it's actually a pretty elegant portfolio strategy. The basic idea is spreading investments across bonds with different maturity dates instead of putting all your money into one bond or one maturity period. That way, you can create more predictable cash flow and avoid committing all your capital at a single interest rate level.
Exactly. From a portfolio management perspective, a bond ladder is designed to balance income generation with risk control. Investors seeking consistent monthly income can structure the ladder so that interest payments and bond maturities occur throughout the year. The result is a more systematic cash flow profile, which can be particularly valuable for retirees or anyone relying on portfolio income.
And I like that flexibility piece. When a bond matures, you get your principal back. You can either use that money for spending needs or reinvest it into a new bond at the far end of the ladder so the ladder keeps rolling forward instead of just ending. It's kind of like replacing the rungs as you climb.
That rolling mechanism is one of the most significant benefits. It helps maintain the income stream over time while also allowing the investor to adapt to changing market conditions. Rather than making a single large commitment and hoping interest rates move in your favor, you are continuously adjusting through scheduled maturities.
Which brings us to the topic everyone loves to debate: interest rates. Or, well, maybe loves is a strong word.
Ha, yes. Interest rate discussions are rarely the highlight of a dinner party. However, they are central to understanding why bond ladders can be effective. A ladder helps mitigate both reinvestment risk and interest rate risk. If rates rise, only part of the portfolio remains locked into older, lower yielding bonds. The bonds that mature can then be reinvested at the new, higher yields.
Right, so you're not sitting there saying, well, I invested everything last year and now rates are higher. Great.
Precisely. Conversely, when rates fall, the longer term bonds in the ladder continue earning the higher rates that were secured previously. That can help preserve income even as newly issued bonds offer lower yields.
So instead of making one giant interest rate bet, you're spreading things out. Some short term bonds, some intermediate term bonds, some longer term bonds. It feels a lot more balanced.
Balanced is the key term. Staggering maturities across multiple time horizons creates a gradual adjustment process. The portfolio naturally responds to prevailing market conditions without requiring frequent tactical predictions about where rates will move next.
Now, building the ladder isn't just about grabbing random bonds and hoping for the best. There are a few important decisions involved.
Absolutely. Bond quality is critical. Many investors focus on high quality government bonds, municipal bonds, or investment grade corporate bonds because these generally carry lower default risk. Preserving capital is often just as important as generating income.
And if you're trying to create monthly cash flow, there's a fun little puzzle element. You can choose bonds with different coupon payment schedules. So interest payments arrive throughout the year rather than bunching together.
That's an excellent point. Strategic selection of coupon schedules can enhance income consistency. Additionally, investors should evaluate tax implications. Municipal bonds, for example, may offer tax advantages in certain circumstances, while other bond types may have different tax treatments.
Taxes. The topic that somehow makes interest rates seem exciting.
I was waiting for that joke. But tax efficiency genuinely matters because after tax income is ultimately what investors spend.
Another thing people sometimes forget is maintenance. A bond ladder isn't necessarily something you build once and never look at again.
Correct. Periodic reviews are essential. Investors should assess whether the ladder still aligns with their financial objectives, cash flow requirements, risk tolerance, and broader economic conditions. This becomes particularly important during periods of economic uncertainty or when central bank policies are shifting.
So if life changes, your ladder might need adjustments too. Maybe your income needs increase. Maybe your risk preferences change. Or maybe market conditions look very different than they did a few years ago.
Exactly. A well maintained bond ladder provides a disciplined framework for income generation while helping manage interest rate exposure and preserve capital. It offers stability, but also enough flexibility to evolve with the investor's circumstances.
And that's probably the biggest takeaway for me. It's not about chasing the highest yield or making perfect predictions. It's about creating a steady system that can keep producing income through different market environments.
Well said. The strength of a bond ladder lies in its combination of predictability, diversification across maturities, risk management, and adaptability. For many investors seeking reliable income, it remains a highly practical and enduring strategy.
Speaking of working smarter, not just harder, there's a fascinating way people are turning their knowledge and creativity into income that keeps working even when they're offline. Imagine creating something once and having it help customers and potentially generate revenue again and again. That brings us to the world of digital products, where templates, printables, and downloadable resources are opening up new opportunities for passive income. So let's explore what makes these products so appealing, how creators are building them, and what it takes to turn a simple idea into a valuable digital asset. Creating passive income with digital products is one of those ideas that sounds almost too good at first. You create something once, put it online, and then people can keep buying it without you worrying about inventory, shipping boxes, or discovering that your garage has become a warehouse overnight.
Exactly. The economic appeal comes from scalability. Digital goods such as templates, printables, planners, spreadsheets, checklists, and downloadable guides can be replicated at virtually no additional production cost. The key factor is that these products solve a specific customer problem while allowing the creator to generate recurring revenue from a single asset.
And that's where a lot of people get stuck, right? They start by asking, what can I make? When the better question is, what problem can I solve? If someone is constantly stressed about managing their budget, a budgeting spreadsheet might be incredibly valuable. If they're trying to organize content, a social media calendar template could save them hours.
That's a critical distinction. Successful digital products generally address a clearly defined need within a target audience. Products that save time, improve organization, increase productivity, or simplify complex tasks tend to perform particularly well because customers immediately understand the benefit.
And templates are everywhere now. Resume templates, meal planners, business forms, educational worksheets. You start looking and suddenly realize half the internet is running on spreadsheets.
That is not entirely inaccurate. Templates and printables are especially popular because they are relatively inexpensive to create and highly versatile. A well-designed framework can be adapted across numerous industries and use cases. The value lies in structure, convenience, and usability.
And honestly, sometimes people aren't buying the spreadsheet itself. They're buying the fact that they don't have to spend 3 hours figuring out how to build one.
Precisely. Customers frequently purchase outcomes rather than products. They are seeking efficiency, clarity, and reduced cognitive effort. A thoughtfully designed digital resource can provide all three.
Another big advantage is distribution. Years ago, selling something globally was complicated. Now, marketplaces and e commerce platforms make it pretty straightforward to reach customers around the world.
Yes, digital distribution has dramatically lowered barriers to entry. Creators can access international markets without managing logistics networks, physical inventory, or shipping operations. That enables even solo entrepreneurs to build businesses with significant reach.
Although I feel like we should talk about the phrase passive income, because every time I hear it, I imagine someone lounging on a beach while money magically appears.
I'm glad you mentioned that. The term can be somewhat misleading. While digital products can generate revenue repeatedly, they typically require substantial upfront effort. Research, design, testing, branding, and product development all require meaningful investment of time and expertise.
And even after launch, you're not completely done. Customers ask questions. Products need updates. Listings need improvements. The beach chair occasionally gets replaced by a laptop.
Exactly. Ongoing maintenance is often necessary. Creators may need to optimize product listings, update materials, respond to customer inquiries, and continue marketing activities through content creation, email campaigns, and social media strategies.
So maybe it's less passive income and more work now, work a little later, and hopefully keep getting paid in between.
That is a far more accurate characterization. The advantage is that the workload does not necessarily scale in direct proportion to sales volume. One product can serve many customers simultaneously.
Something else I like is the idea of building a whole collection of products. Maybe you start with a budgeting spreadsheet, then add financial checklists, planners, and guides. Suddenly, you've got an entire toolkit.
Building a portfolio is an excellent strategy. Multiple high quality digital resources can increase earning potential, diversify revenue streams, and strengthen customer trust. Individuals who purchase one useful product are often receptive to complementary offerings.
It's kind of like building a digital shelf. Every new product gives customers another reason to stop by.
Indeed. Over time, a comprehensive catalog can become a valuable business asset. This approach is particularly practical for entrepreneurs, freelancers, educators, and content creators who want scalable online income without the constraints associated with physical products.
And the common thread through all of this is quality. Good design, clear instructions, professional branding, and actually helping people solve a problem.
Absolutely. Customer focused product development remains the foundation of success. When creators prioritize utility, clarity, and user experience, they position themselves for more consistent long term sales.
So the takeaway is pretty simple. Find a real problem, create something useful, make it easy to buy, keep improving it, and don't expect magical beach money on day one.
Well stated. Digital products can be a powerful and scalable revenue model, but sustainable results typically emerge from strategic planning, continuous refinement, and a genuine commitment to delivering value.
Well, Sam, as we wrap up another episode of the Broken Chumpy podcast, I have to say we covered two topics that sound completely different at first glance, but actually fit together surprisingly well. We talked about building a bond ladder for consistent monthly cash flow in changing interest rate environments. And then we jumped into creating passive income with digital products like templates, printables, and downloadable resources. One is the classic steady and reliable approach, and the other is the build it once and sell it many times approach. It's like comparing a dependable family sedan to a scooter with a rocket attached.
Exactly, Alex. And what I appreciated is that both strategies are fundamentally about cash flow engineering. With a bond ladder, investors stagger bond maturities across different time horizons, which can help reduce reinvestment risk and provide more predictable income streams even when interest rates are fluctuating. And that flexibility becomes particularly important when rate environments are uncertain. Rather than trying to predict every move in the market, the latter structure allows portions of capital to mature periodically and be reinvested at prevailing rates.
And that's what really stood out to me. Instead of spending every morning staring at financial headlines and pretending I know what the Federal Reserve is thinking, a bond ladder creates a system. A system is nice because systems don't wake up at 3 in the morning and panic scroll. People do that. Systems don't.
That's a very technical observation, Alex, but yes, the broader principle is consistency. We also discussed how investors can structure maturities to potentially generate monthly cash flow. The objective is not necessarily maximizing returns at all costs, it's creating a dependable income schedule while managing interest rate exposure. That distinction is important because many listeners are focused on financial stability rather than speculation.
Then we shifted gears into digital products, which was fun because suddenly we went from bonds and maturities to templates and printables. And I like the idea that expertise can become an asset. If someone has knowledge, organizational skills, design skills, or even just a knack for creating useful resources, they can package that value into downloadable products.
Absolutely. Digital products have attractive economics because they are scalable. A template, printable, spreadsheet, planner, checklist, or downloadable resource can be created once and sold repeatedly with relatively low distribution costs. We discussed the importance of solving a specific problem, identifying a target audience, and creating products that provide tangible utility rather than simply adding more digital clutter to the world.
Yeah, because nobody wakes up and says, you know what, I need another random PDF I'll never open. The products that work are the ones that save people time, reduce stress, or help them accomplish something meaningful.
And we emphasize that passive income is often not truly passive at the beginning. There is research, creation, testing, marketing, and refinement involved. However, once systems are established, digital products can generate revenue without requiring a direct exchange of hours for dollars every single time a sale occurs.
That was probably my favorite takeaway from the whole episode. Whether you're building a bond ladder or building a catalog of digital products, you're creating assets that can work for you over time. Different assets, different risks, different effort levels, but the underlying concept is surprisingly similar.
I agree. One strategy relies on fixed income instruments and disciplined portfolio construction. The other relies on intellectual property and digital distribution. Yet both seek recurring cash flow, diversification of income sources, and greater financial resilience.
And if listeners take only one thing away from today's conversation, it's that there isn't just one path to generating income. Maybe you're the person who loves structure, predictability, and financial planning. Maybe you're the person who wants to create templates and resources for a global audience. Or maybe, here comes the wild idea, you do both.
Combining approaches can be a powerful strategy. Stable cash flow assets can complement entrepreneurial income streams, potentially creating a more balanced financial foundation. Diversification applies not only to investments, but also to income generation.
Well said. And thanks everyone for spending part of your day with us. We hope today's discussion gave you practical ideas, a few laughs, and maybe even a reason to stop refreshing interest rate predictions every 10 minutes.
Thank you for listening. We appreciate your time, and we hope the insights on bond ladders, monthly cash flow, digital products, templates, printables, and downloadable resources help you make informed decisions on your financial journey.
Until next time, this is Alex,
And Sam.
signing off from the Broken Chumpy podcast, where sometimes we're broke, sometimes we're chumpy, but we're always looking for smarter ways to build income. See you next episode.